personally.
Let's go with the legs.
I just picked it.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back for another episode of The Whole Bushel on the Real News Network. I'm your host, Eze Jackson. Today, I'm sitting down with another three amazing artists. We have human beatbox and producer, Max Bent. We have spoken word artist, photographer, and lifestyle blogger, Alex Alexander joining us. And rapper, philanthropist, my man, Cellis is in the house too. What's up, y'all?
What up?
Everything good?
Amazing.
Cool. Max, welcome for your first time.
Thank you.
First time truly having crabs. Like
Thank you for the knowledge. I mean, it's like lifetimes of knowledge.
He is woke to the crab game.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He's woke.
Never going back.
Well, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. So one of the things I wanted to talk to all of y'all about was the current climate right now in our country, in America. We have, of course, the 45th president and Donald Trump. And it's the first time that I've seen so many people protesting a president. I don't think in the history of a presidency we've had that many people protesting. What do you think about the current climate in our country? Do you think the protests are effective? Do you think people should be getting out in the streets and doing stuff like that?
They are. I mean, from the standpoint of flooding the offices of congressional representatives, that actually has had a direct effect on legislation, I think. So I think, and also a lot of the fear tactics are countered by actual human beings being observable and saying, you know, look at all these people that don't. I think the people that blocked the bridge in New York, that's a pretty strong statement, you know?
Yeah, it's absolutely been amazing just kind of seeing this country come together and the time that you wouldn't necessarily expect it with, you know, all the casualties of black people that are going on in this country and the disgraces that are happening with foreign policy. It's really eye-opening to see America come together as a whole and really kind of bring this nation together. And on top of that, what's happening nationally, you know, people see that and then they take that back home. They take that to Chicago's, they take that to Baltimore's, they take that to Detroit's and cities that aren't doing well at all and aren't going to do well under the current office. And it allows people to grow and see what's happening and see how they can change their immediate surroundings.
Yeah.
Right. From an artist standpoint, I love the overall tone of awareness in certain artists. Like their mediums change, their voices have changed, and artists are influencing people more than ever now. And you know, get angry, be mindful of where you direct your anger, and hopefully it's for the better good of the cause that you're angry about.
All right, Alex, are there any artists that you personally have seen that have surprised you or that you've noticed that kind of changed their message or evolved or awakened over time?
Being a host and having there be a general topic of sex and love and being mistreated, it's kind of shifted gears towards more politically articulated poetry. And to me,
you
that's
host
at least refreshing.
You host Bolton Hill
The
Open
Bolton
Mic
Hill
series, which
yes.
is really dope.
Yes, you've been a guest.
Yeah.
You've been a feature.
Tell me a little bit about that, like that evolution.
Well, it started off as a cipher that I held in this basement level of my apartment building. It was more or less myself and my classmates from Micah, and we'd gather in there and paint, and I'd invite rappers and poets to come in, and we'd sit there in front of a space heater and go in. This March, the 17th, we'll be celebrating our 5th year doing this.
Congratulations,
and,
that's awesome.
Thank you. I think that's a hard thing to keep an open mic going for 5 years, so I'm excited for that, and so many amazing people have come through those doors.
Cool. So we talk about creators, right, and we're talking about like people voicing their opinion, protesting, kind of pushing back. Do you think it's important or effective that creators play a role? Like when I say creatives, just like, you know, people who want to approach activism in different ways. Like recently in Chicago, there was a Rumps Against Trump thing, right? And like people came out and basically mooned Trump towers. But they had their own ways of doing it. You know, everybody didn't just go out there and pull their pants down. Like it was like, you know, do you think stuff like that is effective in activism? And do you think that artists are essential in protests and activism and politics in general?
I absolutely feel that stuff like that is absolutely essential. Like I said earlier, it just forces people to open their eyes. And you know, it's 2017, we're in an era of modern ignorance. This is not the ignorance that occurred 20 or 50 or 100 years ago. This is an ignorance that is occurring where everybody can openly see what is going on. Right. And when people around us are choosing to ignore, openly choosing to ignore what is going on, we have to get in people's faces and show them that, hey, you need to open your eyes. If it involves us putting our asses in front of Trump towers, if it involves women walking around with pussy hats, the pussycat hats, then we're gonna do it. And and on the second part of that question, do you think artists should be involved? Absolutely, 100%. I think that now more than ever, you see artists like the Kendrick Lamars, you see artists like the J. Coles, you see artists like the Chance the Rappers that are being socially conscious, coming to the forefront and selling millions of records, doing it, and winning Grammys without ever selling a record like Chance the Rapper just did. So, yeah, 100%, yes, yes.
Definitely. Max?
I think what artists do is create sort of the general like agreement, like where everybody is. If enough artists put out material that is promoting a certain message, then the general public will have this sense that that's the direction of society.
Right.
Because I don't think it's politicians that, I mean, that's why it's so sort of like ridiculous when Trump speaks in front of these audiences. It's not well produced, you know what I mean? It looks horrible.
It's a shit show. It literally is a shit show.
It's a really bad production from objectively. So, what's gonna be the general direction of things? So I think artists, in a sense, decide that.
Who doesn't feel it by now? 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 Who doesn't feel it by now?
Cellis, tell me about, you're talking about working with young people. You got a song, Inner Child.
Yes.
I've told you, it's like, that's one of my favorite tracks of yours off Snow Day EP. It's dope. Tell me about that, because you got a couple of heavy things you laying on in there on that track.
It's a very heavy song, and I made it with full intentions of it being a heavy song that makes people a little bit uncomfortable, but makes people think as well. Because, you know, going back to what we were saying earlier, you have to make people uncomfortable in this day and age. You have to make people think about, you know, take a step back and say, what am I doing wrong? What is this country doing wrong before anything gets fixed? And the song is not just looking at one aspect of the American way right now. You know, it dives into the Black community, drug use, gun violence.
Gun violence is one of my favorite topics you cover in there, because you talk about, you bring in kind of all the aspects of gun laws.
Why do you need a semi-automatic?
Yeah, it's like, why do you need to carry that?
Right. And so yeah, it was just one of those songs where I felt it needed to be made, and like I said, I just wanted to cover every single aspect of what I considered was just wrong in America right now, and that's what the song is about ultimately.
Think of it. What have you done lately? What have you done to get off the streets? Brothers is dumb crazy. I'm done spazzing on rich niggas that don't care about po niggas. Us po niggas need to come up. Get up off of that crutch, nigga. I been poed and I got rich. Fucked up and got poor again. Them old ways need to hang it up. Hang it up like ornaments. This nigga's dying. Niggas dying by the hands of cops. Niggas dying by the hands of drugs. Man, get off my block. I go to war for my brothers. Won't go to war for my country. Won't go to war for no stolen lands that won't admit they love me. Broke away from that parliament. The only parliament I know is Funk. The only Clinton I know is George. And all the lies I know came from Trump. That's crazy. You let that rich man trick you. You let that white man tell you that America was victim. You let the system raise you to believe we was the issue. Now the color of my skin is the reason you hold a pistol or that semi-automatic. Why the fuck do you carry that? 50 did in Orlando, 27 in Connecticut. Humanity, you mad at me? Pull the trigger, then a nigga kill. Pull the trigger, make a nigga real? Now how that feel? Crazy and scary, that's real life. Searching for freedom, what do that feel like? It feel like the sun, right after the rain. It feel like all my demons wanted me to be saved. It feel like when your mama bring you in for a hug. It feel like when your granny break you off with some funds. You smiling, that make me smile back. I think we all just need to get our inner child back. I've been woken up by them demons. Need to let them know that I'm not the one. God blessed me with a good gift, and my lyrical sense told them to run. Little Cellis with the fast tongue. Damn, my mama always hated that. Grown nigga with the slick talk. Damn, my daddy kinda proud of that. Damn, it's 2017. Really thought that we be on now. Following all of my dreams. I do this shit for the whole town. I never leave shit for the streets. I just go in and record now. Selling out the local scene. Someone should bring me on tour now. Never focus on the enemy. Keep my head to the sky most days. Hop up in the Jeep, Betty next to me. Touch 1,000, I ride away. City lights hit a nigga eyes. Sun go down, see a new moon rise. Talking to my hitters, then we gotta get it. Show them that we won't take these lies. Jump into the moon, hop into the stars. Aiming for the future, got too many scars. Damn it, all the doubts have gone too far. Damn it, all the doubts have gone too far. Angels put me to sleep, then open my eyes with the mind of a panther, though my mama look white. Humanity, you mad at me, but the man in me won't let that chill. Don't wanna let me live. Now, how that feel? Crazy and scary, that's real life. Searching for freedom, what do that feel like? It feel like the sun, right after the rain. It feel like all my demons wanted me to be saved. It feel like when your mama bring you in for a hug. It feel like when your granny break you off with some funds. You smiling, that make me smile back. I think we all just need to get our inner child back.
Alex, you got a piece called perfect vision.
Yes.
And you say, I have taken temporary pictures, I've taken permanent pictures of temporary people, mere souvenirs of the lives I've visited.
Yes.
It's an awesome piece, and we've talked before about like your journey as an artist. You're a photographer. You graduated from Maryland Institute College of Art here in Baltimore, but you're legally blind.
Yes.
Tell me about that piece. Tell me about that journey.
Well, I was born with an astigmatism, and it's always been like kind of an uphill battle, just kind of interpreting a world that I wasn't able to see as clearly as a lot of people, and I was angry about that as a kid. I was always kind of, teased for how that kind of set me back a little bit. Just, it was harder to just get the gist of what everybody else was already getting, just like full force with their 20/20. And just growing up as an adult, I realized that that was going to be my strength, that I would use my disadvantage to my advantage. And nobody will ever be able to see as I see, and that's just fine, like if not better, because I feel like people abuse having 20/20 vision, and I feel sorry for them because they think they've seen it all. And there's so much more behind just seeing. There's feeling and tasting and hearing and touching and, and just to get all those things involved, it makes me feel more in tune with the world around me because I couldn't see it as clearly as others. So I carry that with me in everything I do, everything I do.
I love it. I love it.
Interview right there. Man.
I know, right? I'm like, I'm about to set up an appointment and get my glasses. If my grandma was here, she'd be like, boy, you heard what she said? You walk around without your damn glasses?
And like, that's the thing, I've never been able to just pop on a pair of glasses to improve the issue, because it's always acted as a sharpened filter for the world. It was never brought it any clearer to me. Like, never brought it any closer to me. So fuck glasses, fuck a contact lens, I
feel you.
Enjoy the ride.
I take permanent pictures of temporary people, mere souvenirs from all the lives that I have visited. See, I've given them four corners to exist in, when in actuality they deserve far less than this, but I digress in this sentiment. See, these images have meant more to me than the nanoseconds spent on capturing that moment perfectly, and it will never happen again, no, not without me. See, the light will never fall upon your skin the same as it did on the day that you got vulnerable for me. The day you released yourself from vanity and let your spirit breathe. That shit's called photography, which is Greek for light drawing. See, your light drew me into you, and we made some art that day. I got carried away in the instantaneous greatness of the whole ordeal. Sitting back knowing that I had a portion of your spirit caught on a roll of film, baby, I'm sitting on a gold mine of times past. And I'm just trying to make them last a little longer. Surpassing the sensationalism of the digital age, see, I sit back as that shit rapes you of your good taste, while you don't know that some of the best photographs are the ones you cannot take. The ones too priceless to place upon that book of fleeting faces. See, this ain't no hobby for me, because I happen to eat, sleep, and breathe my fucking shutter speed, so get back to me. When you've developed a photograph on the surface of a bed sheet because that's where you and she used to sleep, man, it's deep. See, I speak in terms of composition and capture. Light, contrast, and aperture, all caught up in the rapture of life, aimed at camera click. Did you get it? And to think I almost missed it if my mother had listened to them doctors saying I wouldn't be shit because her retina's a little tilted and albinism stole her vision, but Miss Dixon thought different. It's like she knew I might be gifted, so it's best that I don't disappoint my mother and have her faith in me turned asunder. I could not live with that. So with my lens uncapped, I capture some of the most beautifully composed proof that life has happened right before these very eyes. See, I'm not surprised that God gave the best insight to the visually impaired, because I happen to see more in a nanosecond than most would likely see in a good year, and that's with my eyes closed. I get a good sense of the environment with my nose. And I can identify a color by the sound that it chose, because I am not my disposition. See, how can I miss perfect vision if we wasn't kicking it in the first place? And it's true that when one sense falls short, the others make haste. So my perspectives never rest. They take power naps at best, because my hands were meant to caress every medium that crosses their path. And I just chose this mode of photography because it's as portable as I am. See, I am one of the hardest women working at a moment in time where the hardest are hard to find, because that bullshit keeps surfacing to the front line. See, you'll never find sustenance while skimming away comfortably at your surface. So help me unearth this unearthly deity in me, and welcome you all to some sort of artistic rapture where we speak in terms of composition and capture. Light, contrast, and aperture, all caught up in the rapture of life aimed at camera. Click! Did you get it? This is perfect vision from the eyes and the mouth of the visually impaired. And I see all of you.
Feel you. Let's talk about weed.
Let us.
Because I know that's one of your favorite topics, Alex.
True indeed.
Why do you think it's not 100% legal in the United States? Do you think it should or shouldn't be?
Somebody said something in The Color Purple saying, folks don't like people being too proud or too free. And I get proud and free when I smoke. Like, there's nothing that is in my way when I reach that type of a freedom. And I don't know what is the holdup, because on top of that, it's also aided me in my partial sightedness. It calms the nystagmus, it calms the pendulum motion of the eyes, which causes me not to be able to see. As a matter of fact, that's the first time my mother knew I was high, was because my eyes were so still. And she was not mad, she was extremely grateful.
Damn.
And she was like, well, we're gonna find a guy, and we're gonna make sure that you got your prescription. Okay, and so that kind of worked as my glasses. I was focused, I was still, was able to finish a book in a week. Like, any other time it would take me like 2 months to finish like 20 pages just to retain the information. Like, it was stressful. So, I mean, that's outside of recreational purposes. That's why I am a huge fan and advocate of marijuana and marijuana smoking, edibles, the whole bit.
Okay. Cellis,
Coming in here, I was gonna say I didn't really care about the issue, but after that, fucking, we need to legalize it. But I mean, I'm not a smoker. I've never really been a smoker. I can't remember the last time I smoked. But I mean, I have seen it do wonderful things, as far as people with MS and people who have cancer, and it really has helped them. So why not help people if that's what it boils down to at the end of the day? If the main thing, and it's locking up millions of black men, and it has been.
That's why it's not legal.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, that's part of the question.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all a system, I suppose. Like I said, I haven't spent too much time on the topic just because I don't really smoke, but legalize this shit, damn.
I mean, there's definitely disparities in, you look at right here in Baltimore, Freddie Gray, the zip code that Freddie Gray lives in, which is my zip code, 21217, that area had the highest number of marijuana arrests and the lowest median income. You know what I mean? So you look at those statistics, and then you look at Colorado, you know what I mean, where it's legalized and their economy has boomed. So there's something, I think, to be said there. So I like to bring, this is my first time bringing that up, I think, on the show. But yeah, it would definitely can't, somebody brought it up casually. It was like, you can't not talk about weed and you're sitting there talking about it.
Well, here's the question. So once weed is significantly legalized, then what will the prison industrial complex use as its tunnel?
Then the next conversation, is getting rid of privatized prisons, which are holding all these brown people essentially, because the numbers are so disproportionate from whites locked up from weed and blacks locked up, and blacks, browns, Hispanics, any brown culture. It gets to the point where we have to stop letting prisons make money off of ruining people's lives. ultimately. So
Have y'all seen the documentary 13th? Ava DuVernay?
Yes.
Only
Have you
parts
seen
of
it?
it. A part, but it's
There's a
the
part
parts
in
I've
there
seen
where they're
are
talking about how they're even starting to put money into like community lockup, you know, into more money into like the bracelet monitoring programs. So, but still putting money into locking people up and not on changing laws that will help people, because it's true. There's so much money in prisons that it's crazy. It's nuts.
I think that's what the immigration thing's all about.
yeah.
I think people see the writing on the wall with cannabis. Like, that's pretty much a done deal. So what's going to fuel that whole system? Probably, I mean, you see the number of private prisons that are housing immigrant families now.
Yeah. Wow.
It's just going to,
Good point.
It's just going to explode. You know, and it's the kind of thing that's so quiet, you know, unless you're directly involved, unless you know those people, unless you're, you know, you might not even notice it. Not initially, anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Not initially.
At some point we will, though. We'll all see.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's eyes are going to be open at some point, and it's all going to hit us hard.
All right, well, thanks
Thanks,
y'all.
Eze.
Thank you so much,
Appreciate
brother.
y'all. Stick around. We're going to finish up these crabs we got here. Thanks for joining us for another episode of The Whole Bushel, y'all. If you want to check out past episodes and future episodes, you can follow us on social media. The Facebook page is The Whole Bushel. You can also find us on YouTube and at therealnews.com. You can find links to all of these artists' music below the video. And, you know, keep checking us out. I'll see y'all next time. Thank you.